Big national story is the ongoing diplomatic standoff between India and Canada. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met Prime Minister Modi in the new Parliament building today amid the diplomatic tussle. Canada expelled a senior Indian diplomat yesterday, citing what they alleged credible intelligence of Indian government's links to the murder of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar in July this year. Speaking to the media today, Prime Minister Trudeau said that the Indian government needs to take the matter with utmost seriousness. The Indian government has also issued an advisory for Indian students and Indian nationals in Canada, asking them to exercise utmost caution while travelling.
India, the government of India, needs to take this matter with the utmost seriousness. We are doing that. We are not looking to provoke or escalate. We are simply laying out the facts as we understand them, and we want to work with the government of India to lay everything clear.
Let's go across to Brahma, Chellaney now. Brahma, Chellaney, do you feel that India does find itself cornered in this one? Because clearly Justin Trudeau, the Canadian government, did not act alone. They took all their Five Eyes partners into confidence. So where do you think this leaves India diplomatically at this juncture with this issue?
Well, the situation is just the opposite. Canada tried to rope in its close allies, the Anglosphere countries, the US, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. But it has drawn little support from these other four countries. If you look at the American statement and the Australian statement, they are pretty wishy-washy. They have lent no direct support to Canada's accusations against India. And at home, Trudeau is facing criticism for leveling an allegation against India without presenting any evidence. The leader of the opposition in Canada has said that even in private, Trudeau provided no hard evidence to him about India's supposed role in this murder. The fact is that this murder happened more than 3 months ago. Not a single suspect has been arrested in connection with this murder. And yet, Trudeau talks about credible allegations. Allegations are allegations. There's nothing like credible allegation. But how can anything be credible when you have no arrests, let alone any evidence? So by making an evidence-free allegation against India, what Trudeau has done, he has set in motion the rapid deterioration of bilateral relations. This is unfortunate because Canada and India ought to be close partners. There's no reason for them to be acting like adversaries.
Right. How do you think the India-Canada relations could be impacted? Do you think this will be the end of it, considering there's an ongoing investigation that Canada is carrying out? They're also facing elections in 2025. Popularity of Justin Trudeau is not great at this juncture. Do you feel that Canada may try and create more pressure because of domestic politics?
The ties between India and Canada have been fraying for quite some time. The controversy over the murder of Mr. Nijjar is just the latest chapter in fraying ties between the two countries. The fact is that Trudeau has stoked growing tensions with India, largely for reasons that have to do with Canadian domestic politics. Trudeau has political ties with radical Sikhs. In fact, Trudeau is heading a minority government that depends for survival on an opposition figure by the name Jagmeet Singh, who heads a small left-leaning party. Now, this is the paradox. He is head of a left-leaning party, but he is a Khalistani. He has, in the past, defended other Sikh militants as a lawyer, and he has been participating in meetings, pro-Khalistan meetings in Canada. Now, Jagmeet Singh is keeping this government afloat. Pandering to the Sikh constituency in Canada is also the reason why in 2020, when farmers were blockading highways near New Delhi, Trudeau cheered them on. And ironically, last year, after his government was faced with peaceful protests against Canada's mandatory COVID-19 vaccination policy, what did he do? In a stunning display of hypocrisy, Trudeau declared a national emergency and crushed those peaceful protests. That is Justin Trudeau. He will do anything. He is not a wise politician. Had he been wise, he wouldn't have aired an evidence-free allegation against another country, knowing that such an allegation would corrode an important bilateral relationship, that too with the world's fastest growing major economy.
Right. My final question, Mr. Chellaney, what kind of tools that India has diplomatically to resolve this issue with Canada and to put counter pressure?
India is responding to every Canadian move. Canada expelled India's top spy, and India immediately expelled Canada's top intelligence officer. Canada issues a travel advisory on India, and now India issues a travel advisory on Indians traveling to Canada. So this tit-for-tat process that has been set in motion by Ottawa can only be stopped if Ottawa realizes that this will lead to a downward spiral, because it's easier to damage a bilateral relationship than to rebuild it. The damage should not be done to a relationship that is important for both countries. There are no strategic divergences of a major kind between Canada and India. There's no major clash of strategic interests between Canada and India. They ought to be close partners. After all, they are what we would call natural allies. So preserving that relationship should be a priority both for Ottawa and for New Delhi.
Right. We've run out of time, but Mr. Chellaney, thanks once again for being with us. So this is definitely a diplomatic standoff which will last for some time. Let's see how it gets resolved. But that's a wrap on this edition of Newscentre. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC.